Example 3 says f of x equals negative 3 over x minus 4. Okay, so let's rewrite this. As you can see here, students, we're going to rewrite it as negative 3, okay, times 1 over. We don't have anything adding to the x in the denominator, so technically that is the same thing as adding 0 and then minus 4. This allows you guys to see that the a value is going to be a negative 3, the h value is 0, and the k value is negative 4. So h and k is immediately 0, negative 4. Remember, h is also your vertical asymptote, so that's going to be x equal to 0. And your horizontal asymptote is also y equals to negative 4, which is your k value. Let's go and graph those right away. Okay, this is your vertical asymptote, which is up and down, x equals to 0. Your y is negative 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, these have to be dashed lines, so that's put it in there. All right. So let's make your parent table. You know what? Let me write this over here. Y equals negative 4. Your parent equation is y equals 1 over x. You will be asked what the parent equation is, so make sure we are very familiar with this. X and y, negative 2, negative 1, negative 1/2. Remember, we can't pick 0 because that's your asymptote. 1 over 2, 1 and 2. So this is going to be a negative 1 over 2, and negative 1, negative 2, 2, 1, and 1 over 2. Okay, so let's do the transformation table. This one. Okay, so remember the h value goes with x, but since h is 0, adding 0 to x doesn't change anything. The a value gets multiplied to the y, so negative 3 times y, and then we have a k value of negative 4, so minus 4. So the x students are not changing. So negative 2, negative 1, negative 1/2, asymptote, 1/2, 1, and 2. Now your job is, students, take these y values and transform them and give me some new values. Okay, so hopefully you guys get some values. Let's check it to see if you and I are matching. Now, if you didn't know how to do it, this is how you kind of do it. So first thing is, guys, you're going to take your negative 1/2 times a negative 3, which is a positive 3 over 2. Positive 3 over 2 is the same as 1.5 and minus 4. 1.5 minus 4, that's going to be a negative 2.5. Next is going to be this value, negative 1 times negative 3. It's positive 3. Positive 3 minus 4 is now a negative 1. Next is this value, negative 2 times negative 3. It's positive 6. Positive 6 minus 4 is going to be a negative. Positive 6 minus 4, I'm sorry, it's a positive 2, okay? Then we're going to do the same thing with the next one. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 minus 4. This is going to be negative 10. Next is going to be 1 times negative 3 is negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. Next is going to be half times negative 3 is negative 3 over 2 minus 4. Negative 3 over 2, students, is negative 1.5 or negative 1.5. Negative 1.5 minus 4 is now negative 5.5. Let's go plot those, and I hope you guys got matching answers. All right, let's plot these. Okay, negative 2 is negative 2.5. So negative 2 is on the left, negative 2.5. It's right there. Negative 1, go down to negative 1, which is right there. Negative half, we're going to go up to 1 and 2. Okay, so these, remember, the asymptotes are there to guide us along, just like that. Okay, if you miss your dots, make it super big. Then the right side, it's positive half, go to negative 10. So here's negative 10 and positive half. Positive 1, go to 7, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right there. And positive 2, go to negative 5.5. So positive 2, 4, 5, 5.5. It's right there. All right. So remember, follow the asymptote. Get really close. Don't touch your asymptote, just like that. You miss your dots and make it bigger. All right, guys, let's see it. X in a set, we do have one on the left side. We don't ever have a Y in a set because there's an asymptote here on the Y-axis. I mean, we can't touch it. So that's going to say NA right here. Your domain is going to be all real number except 0. So negative infinity to 0, union 0 to infinity. Your range is going to be all real number except your k value, so negative infinity to negative 4, union negative 4 to infinity. It is definitely an increasing interval, so as you can see, if we were to go from left to right, this goes up. Same thing with this, if we're going to go from left to right, this one is also going up. So increasing from negative infinity to 0, union 0 to infinity. Remember, increase and decrease, it's usually the same as your domain. You just need to know which one's which, okay? That means the entire thing is already increasing, so decreasing is NA. It is definitely a one-to-one, so let's work it out by hand for the X in a set, but let's go state the transformations really quickly. A is negative 3, students, so the negative itself is going to be a vertical reflection. So vertical reflection, aka reflection over the x-axis. Now an absolute value of negative 3 is going to be 3, so that's bigger than 1. So that's going to be a vertical stretch, factor of 3 or of 3. Then you have your k value of negative 4, so we are going to shift down 4 units, and that is totally true because our asymptote, our horizontal asymptote went down 4. So the last part we have to do is your x-intercept. X-intercept is when y equals to 0. Okay, so 0 is negative 3 over x minus 4. So first step, guys, it's add 4 to both sides. So 4 equals negative 3 over x. LCD, we only have an x on the bottom, so that which is going to be your x. So multiply this by x, multiply this by x. Remember, x and x over 1 is exactly the same. This allows you to say, okay, reduce and reduce. So on one side, the left side, you got 4 times x, which is 4x, equals on the right side is negative 3. Divide both sides by 4, so negative 3 over 4. So that's your x-intercept. So negative 3 over 4, comma 0. And let's pinch it in to see if we completed everything.